So we couldn't even go a day. We could not even go a day without an article like this coming out.
Another day, another WNBA figure whining that Caitlin Clark is somehow bad for the league.
Surprise, surprise!
At this point, are we really surprised that someone is complaining about the very person who's been single-handedly carrying the WNBA to mainstream success? This time it's a player, someone who should be thrilled about all the new eyeballs on the sport, claiming that things have gotten worse since Caitlin Clark and her league and media-appointed rival Angel Reese burst onto the scene. According to her, the league's become more toxic for players now that the Caitlin and Angel show is in town. It seems poor Caitlin can't win. She delivers record-breaking attention to a league that desperately needed a jolt of energy. And what does she get? Her name dragged through the mud for the negative side effects that come with that attention. It's like giving a starving village a feast and then getting scolded because some people got indigestion. Now, I'm not here to roast this player for speaking her mind. She's not entirely off base. There has been a lot of ugly chatter swirling around since Caitlin and Angel's college rivalry spilled into the pros, but she's definitely missing a big piece of the puzzle. In fact, her very complaints kind of prove one of the points Caitlin's rowdiest fans keep making in all those Twitter battles. It's a vicious little cycle, and I'm going to break it all down for you. By the end, you'll see why I doubt this drama dies down anytime soon, unless WNBA players make one crucial adjustment.
It's been phenomenal in the last 7 days. Clark, step back, hits a three.
Let's get into it. But first, subscribe for the latest Caitlin Clark and Fever updates. This season's going to be a banger. So here's the situation. The WNBA is coming off a surge of attention unlike anything in its history. We're talking sold-out arenas, TV ratings through the roof, social media buzzing, and it's thanks to Caitlin Clark's arrival. She came out of college as a full-blown phenomenon, dragging tons of new fans with her into the WNBA. Her showdown with Angel Reese in the 2023 NCAA title game turned both players into household names and set up a juicy storyline the league was eager to capitalize on. For a league that used to struggle to crack the mainstream, this was basically a dream scenario. A ready-made rivalry between two young superstars from that highly watched college final. A Bird versus Magic kind of moment, if you will, with two contrasting personalities lighting a fire under the sport. Is it really a rivalry beyond 2 March Madness games? Not really. Either way, the league milked it. But of course, the extra attention hasn't all been positive. Some veteran WNBA fans and players feel annoyed, even threatened, by the nonstop Caitlin hype. And some of Caitlin's fans, and even casual observers, have responded by pointing out every flaw in the WNBA. The result? Toxic social media wars and comment sections you need a shower after reading. Which brings us to the latest WNBA complaint. In a recent interview with Us Weekly, your favorite publication to read in the grocery store while the grandma in front of you tries to pay for her single onion with a personal check, Shakira Austin basically said the league might be growing, but the atmosphere has gotten uglier with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in the mix. She said, "It's gotten worse in the past year for sure. You know, the whole Caitlin and Angel thing, it's getting pretty bad." Now first, she's not blaming Caitlin or Angel here, and she's not wrong that the vibe around the WNBA has gotten heated. Ever since the whole Caitlin versus Angel saga took off, we've seen feuds, fan wars, and culture clashes like never before. But here's the thing. A lot of the nastiness bubbling up isn't coming out of a vacuum. In fact, some of it is self-inflicted by the WNBA world, yes, including the players and even owners themselves. Let's take a step back and see who's really adding fuel to this fire. First off, it's not like Caitlin Clark woke up and told her fans, "Go forth and tell WNBA players how much better I am and how much better I've made the league." She's just out there dropping 30-foot bombs and making SportsCenter highlights. You have to think some of it is because they personally feel under attack, or players and media are trying to dismiss or diminish Caitlin's accomplishments, when they know the only reason they are watching is because Caitlin brought them there. And who's attacking them? Ironically, members of the WNBA community that Caitlin's popularity is helping. We've got players, owners, and media all taking turns spinning this narrative that Caitlin's hype is somehow unfair or artificial. And sadly, they sometimes drag race into the mix. They won't usually say Caitlin doesn't deserve it outright. Her talent is obvious. But they'll imply that the real reason she's so popular is because she's white and that her fans are cheering for her pigment, not her play. Which begs the question, why aren't they showing the same support for Breanna Stewart or Paige Beckers? Does anyone have a problem with that? Well, one person does. More on that in a minute. Anyway, here are just some recent examples. WNBA champion Natasha Cloud went on a podcast and strongly suggested some of Caitlyn's fans weren't there for basketball reasons.
But the craziness that came with the new fandom was rooted in something other than fandom, right? And I think that's very evident to see across the board.
And then she flat out said that the uproar over hard fouls on Caitlyn last season was driven by, well, take a guess.
What it is racism, right? It gets blown up into, oh, they're going after Caitlin Clark, but no, we're just playing one of the best players that's in this league the way that any other best player, franchise player is going to get played.
Then you have team owners chiming in. Take Washington Mystics co-owner Sheila Johnson, who said this about the Caitlin Clark effect after she won Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year.
It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. I'm going to be very honest. I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented.
Yeah, she didn't have a problem taking advantage of that hype and upgrading to WNBA arenas whenever Caitlyn was in town. She's doing it again this year. And it's not just those two. Turn on sports TV and you'll hear similar sentiments. ESPN analyst Monica McNutt, for example, went on the BBC and said part of Caitlyn's appeal is that she's a white girl from the middle of America.
I was just about to say same thing for Angel Reese when I had a chance to cover their games, but I think Caitlyn represented, and again, some of this to me probably is not fair to her because it was not anything that she said or was truly based on her personality, but she was a white girl from the middle of America.
And then, the cherry on top, you've got former NBA player Eaton Thomas writing a piece in The Guardian calling out Caitlin Clark supporters for not showing the same love to Paige Beckers because of her social advocacy. He made it clear this isn't Clark's fault at all, but still went straight to our town when describing her fans. Now, imagine being a Caitlin Clark fan. You just hopped on the WNBA bandwagon because Caitlin Clark's jaw-dropping game got you hooked. You're buying tickets, jerseys, you're boosting ratings, exactly what the league has always wanted. And suddenly you've got players and pundits telling you that you're only here because of some great white hope narrative. How would you react? You'd probably get defensive. You'd clap back. And often clapping back turns into exactly the kind of nastiness we're talking about. So yeah, we've got a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy here. Certain WNBA figures keep implying Caitlyn's supporters are cheering for Caitlyn based on color. When they respond by trashing the league or its players, it's yep, see, these new fans are awful. Round and round it goes. All right, so we've got players, owners, and media stoking the fire by making everything about race or respect, and fans responding by going nuclear. What does that response look like? Often, it comes as dumping on the WNBA itself. You'll see some of these new fans sneer that nobody cared about the WNBA before Caitlyn because it just wasn't worth watching.
18 points and 8 rebounds, and that's one way.
Pipeline. You have Olivia at Pepperdine is keeping her team alive tonight. Stewart, nice fake, lays it up short.
I mean, yeah, that's painful. But that's been the slam against the WNBA. The quality of the play, especially compared to the men's game. And it wasn't until Caitlin Clark started doing this in college that many fans gave women's basketball a second look.
National championship game.
She has more size and length.
Clark, you bet. 3:30 to go in the first quarter. Clark looking to turn the corner, lays it in.
Look, I know the WNBA players don't like hearing it. It's harsh, but it's the truth. Caitlyn is dynamic and brought a level of skill and excitement needed to reel in casual viewers. So when players start dismissing her impact, they bring out the clips and say, "This is why I wasn't watching before." And in the case of Angel Reese, they'll bring out her, well, clips like this.
Avery comes up with the board. Long pass, perfect to Reese. She was unable to get.
And it gets even worse when some of the game's most respected leaders complain about her spotlight. Case in point, Minnesota Lynx star Nafisa Collier even said it's kind of crazy that Caitlyn's Indiana Fever have more nationally televised games this season than the defending champion New York Liberty. This is not outright hatred toward Caitlyn, but there's an undercurrent of resentment from some players who've been grinding in this league for years with far less fanfare. They see arenas suddenly selling out only when Caitlyn comes to town, see the media focusing on her every move, and they feel a bit overlooked. And you know what? That's understandable. The irony, though, is that while they grumble, they're also benefiting big time. For example, teams are moving games to bigger arenas just to accommodate the Caitlin Clark fan invasion. Those games are breaking attendance records. and even the home team players get to enjoy the packed house and extra revenue. Owners are cashing bigger checks. And when the next collective bargaining talks happen, players can point to this surge, largely sparked by Caitlin, to argue for higher salaries. You can't really have it both ways, folks. If you're going to enjoy the spoils of the Caitlin Clark effect, you might have to swallow a bit of pride and accept that she's kind of a big deal.
Like, I genuinely think that it's a dumb question to answer. Like, people don't realize that these journalists are trying to get you to say negative stuff about Caitlin Clark because that's what gets more clicks.
Now back to Shakira and the toxicity in the league that has escalated due to Caitlin and Angel. Yes, there are trolls. There's some hate that has no place in the league, and it's coming from both sides. But there's one thing that seems crystal clear. The toxicity, to some extent, seems desired.
It is a little that Bird Magic moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch.
Why does the WNBA's commissioner Kathy Engelbert single out color as part of the Caitlin and Angel rivalry? Why does that aspect of these two players matter? If we've learned anything in the social media age, controversy gets clicks. The media loves a good catfight, a good divide narrative. Caitlin versus Angel, and more broadly, Caitlin versus the WNBA is a storyline that writes itself and racks up views. So of course some outlets and personalities lean into this. As counterproductive as it is in so many ways, it drives engagement. Alright, so we've painted a pretty wild picture. Players and owners grumbling, media stirring the pot, fans feeling attacked and firing back even harder. It's messy, but weirdly enough, you know what it all signifies? That the WNBA has finally made it onto the big stage. As Hall of Famer Cheryl Miller said to the naysayers,
"With that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
Right.
Everybody now has an opportunity."
All this noise, even the negative stuff, is proof that people are actually paying attention now. Think about it. Nobody was having massive fights about the WNBA a couple years ago. The fact that we even have heated debates and viral fan wars now means the league is in the spotlight. Before Caitlin, the prevailing attitude was apathy from the general public. Now, suddenly everyone has an opinion on women's hoops. Sure, some of it has turned toxic, but that toxicity is the flip side of interest. Love it or hate it, people care. No one boos a nobody. The very presence of haters means people care. Before, if someone didn't like the WNBA, they'd just ignore it. Now, some of those people are actually watching games, even if it's partly to see what the hype is about or to have ammo for an argument online. And you know what? I'll take a heated argument over indifference any day. At least those arguing are tuned in. It's actually almost comical. Those toxic new fans the player complained about, many of them openly admit, "Yeah, I never watched a WNBA game until Caitlin came along." They weren't paying attention before because, in their view, the product wasn't compelling enough for them. Then this kind of stuff happened.
Clark looking to turn the corner, lays it in. A terrific start here in the semifinals. Clark will fire and hit from three.
Giant lineup inside.
Clark turns the corner and lays it in.
Caitlin dropped a 40-point masterpiece in March Madness and boom, they were hooked. Suddenly they care. And when they see something they don't like, say a player missing too many layups or a commentator taking a shot at their girl Caitlin, they're going to voice it loudly. Now that they've been drawn in, these fans are also discovering the rest of the league and holding it to the high standard of entertainment that Caitlin set for them. So if a game is slow or a star player has an off night, they'll be the first to jump on Twitter and say, "This is why nobody watched before." Brutal? Yeah. But to be fair, it's the same kind of ruthless commentary NBA players get from their fan bases. NBA Twitter isn't exactly known for its kindness. The WNBA is just getting its first real dose of that broader sports fan culture. And guess who else gets put under that microscope now? Angel Reese, the other half of this headline-grabbing duo. Angel is a marketing machine. She leans into the fame, talks trash, lives it up. But when you invite attention, you invite criticism too. So when Angel's game struggled at times, the trolls came for her just as hard. She's gotten flack for missed layups, for perceived attitude, you name it. Angel herself has admitted the hate has bothered her, even as she courts the spotlight. It's like, you can't have one without the other.
She's a beautiful young lady, and there's a lot of beautiful young ladies in the WNBA.
But when you do that, you can't come down the line and complain about being objectified later on. It's not going to work with people. Whether it's right or wrong, it's not going to work.
The reality is, the bigger your star, the bigger the target on your back. You can't be a superstar adored by millions and not have a contingent that dislikes you. Sometimes for valid reasons, sometimes for completely stupid reasons, sometimes just because you're the it name and Twitter's gonna Twitter. So yeah, the WNBA atmosphere is more contentious now. More trolls, more feuds, more drama. But that's because it's more alive now. The league is trending. Its players are in the national conversation. In a weird way, that's a win, even if it comes with headaches. But here's the kicker. The toxic attention this player is complaining about is the very thing that's going to lead to fatter paychecks for her and everyone else.
All you see, by the way, are like more fans than ever coming to your games. You're getting to play in sold out arenas. Eventually, no matter what team you're going to be playing on, you're going to be playing in a 10,000 plus seater stadium. You're going to be training very soon in state-of-the-art facilities.
You can't separate the two. More attention equals more revenue equals bigger salaries and better opportunities. WNBA players have fought for charter flights, better marketing, higher pay. Well, guess what drives all that? Eyeballs and interest. And now they have it. Caitlin brought a tidal wave of interest that's making those things happen. By 2026, when the next CBA negotiations roll around, the pie will be a lot bigger. Every player, even those who never get a Caitlin-level spotlight, will likely get a raise because the league's profile and coffers have grown. And that growth is tied directly to this frenzy of attention, toxic or not. It's a package deal. Great popularity comes with great trolling, to paraphrase Spider-Man's uncle. If you want the perks, you endure the trolls. Ask any celebrity or superstar athlete, none of them would trade the fame and fortune just to avoid some randos yelling at them online. They learn to live with it. WNBA players are now entering that same realm of fame, and they'll adapt. So, what's the one thing those players could do to improve this situation? Besides, everyone chilling out a bit on Twitter. It's simple. Embrace the spotlight instead of resenting it. Embrace Caitlin Clark for what she is, the biggest walking advertisement for the WNBA right now. Instead of side-eyeing how much attention she gets, use it. If you're a player, realize that every time Caitlin draws a new fan to a game, that's a chance for that fan to discover you too. Maybe they come for Caitlin, but they'll see you drop 20 points or make a highlight reel block, and boom, you've got a new fan as well. A rising tide lifts all boats, right? WNBA legend Lisa Leslie said it best.
I think we have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunities,
Lisa urged players to quit complaining and recognize that Caitlin's success is lifting everyone. More TV games, more sponsors, more fans and seats. She noted that Caitlin's been humble and team-oriented through it all, always sharing credit with teammates and paying homage to the legends who came before her. And Leslie emphatically added that they've never seen anything like this before. Teams needing bigger arenas, TV schedules expanding, all thanks to Caitlin's impact. So instead of feeling threatened by her, other players should take a page from her book. Use the influx of attention to showcase their games. Show fans why they should stick around for more than just Caitlin. If some loudmouth online says only Caitlin is worth watching, go out and drop a career high or pull off a jaw-dropping play that proves them wrong. Don't sulk, shine. The truth is, Caitlin's doing everything right off the court. She's humble, she's team first. She's consciously using her star power to boost her league, not just herself. How can you not respect that? Even as her legend grows, she remains about the game, not the fame. She deflects praise to her teammates and gives props to her opponents. She's even politely shut down talk that disrespects WNBA veterans. She gets it. Bottom line, the Caitlin Clark phenomenon is real, and it's spectacular for the WNBA. She's filling arenas and stat sheets with equal ease. Teams can call it a scheduling conflict when they move a game to a bigger arena, and players can grumble when there are more Caitlin fans at their home games when the Fever are in town, but she's the needle and essential to the league's future. The pain of growth, which is what players like Shakira are experiencing now, is likely preferable to the pain of being disrespected, not through attention, but apathy. So what do you think? Will WNBA players eventually embrace the Caitlin Clark effect, or will this back and forth keep raging? Let me know in the comments, and drop a basketball emoji to let me know you're here. Thanks for watching.